Okay, we're back again. My name is Jay Davis, and in the last video we discussed what they're going to be doing prior to the pre-inspection, and then started the very beginning of the pre-inspection. Again, got the wheels chalked, my parking brakes are set. I've inspected the front area of the truck, inspected the windshield wipers in the upper areas, and so now we're to the point where we're going to actually pop the hood on the tractor and take a look at the engine bay and the items that we're going to be looking at. There's always a grab handle up here, right behind here, behind the emblem. Use your leg. Don't hurt yourself getting this hood open. Be sure to use good posture. You pop that open. Use your weight. Gentle with it. You want to make sure those catch cables catch. Good to go. I like to work on the driver's side first, and then I'll work my way down the tractor trailer. So the examiner is going to be standing pretty much where you're at and watching me. I really highly recommend wearing gloves, unlike what I'm going to be doing because I forgot my gloves. But you're going to be touching a lot of items, and you want to make sure before you touch that item, is that item going to be hot and is it going to burn you? And so if it is, you just point it out to the examiner, and you'll see in during my demonstration, this vehicle was just freshly run, so it is very warm, and so we'll go through those items as we go. First thing I look at when I come in is, keep in your mind, leaks and hoses. That's the first set of things I'm going to be checking. So leaks. I'm going to be looking at the motor here, and I'm talking to you like an examiner. I'm looking in here. I don't see any major oil leaks. I can look down there in the oil pan. I don't see any issues, any oil leaking. I'm looking at the back of the motor for anything leaking out back there. The transmission, I don't see anything on the transmission pan indicating a severe leak, anything like that. So I'm looking over here. I'm looking at all my hoses. Here's my radiator hose here. The clamps are securely mounted. I've got, I can see my rest of my radiator hose through here. The hoses are securely mounted. Clamps are in place. You can see I've got my power steering line here. No leaks. Power steering here looks in good shape. It's secure. All the clamps are in place. Here's my high pressure line. This can be very warm. So I'm looking at it, making sure that it's not loose, not abrading against anything. There's nothing's going to punch a hole in it. Here where it's rubbing against this breather line here, they've put a plastic sleeve on it, so it's not going to abrade or cause an issue with that. One of the main items you need to check on this, that's on the checklist that they're going to be checking, is the radiator fluid. Because you just drove this to the DMV, it's going to be hot. So there's no sight glass on this particular truck. So I just told the examiner I would pop that cap and check that for its fluid. I did check that prior to coming here, and it's good. I'm not going to open it up because it could burn me, and that is sufficient. Another item you're going to need to point out is the water pump. There's the water pump right there. It is securely mounted. Here's our air compressor. It's right here. This is our air compressor. It's a gear-driven air compressor. It is also securely mounted. Our power steering fluid reservoir, you need to check that. It is above the refill line. That is good. We've got our belts. This is to our air compressor pump. Not air compressor, excuse me, our AC compressor. And we're going to be checking for any cracks, frays, damages. Look at the back side, and make sure the play does not exceed 3/4 of an inch. I stated that figure to the examiner. Again, I'm checking these belts for any cracks, frays, or damage. Looking at the underside, and it is within specifications at play of less than 3/4 of an inch. Got our fan. There's no broken off fans or anything. Looking at the radiator, there's no leaks or anything coming from the side. No issues there. I'm going to be just basically do a general check on all my wiring. Wiring is secure and in place, and nothing abrading and causing an electrical problem. Looking back up here, got my airline hoses here. These are all secure and in place, and not abrading or causing any type of a problem. Got your cab mount here, looks to be in good shape. Again, you're just going to check all, kind of poke around. And when you're in this test, you're checking this whole engine area, right? And you're going to be checking, make sure everything's secure. There's no big problems. Now, don't be afraid in the time. If you're done with this section, you think you're done, pause for a second. I did. You don't have to have the super scripted deal. You just want to make sure you're checking everything. So I'm going to pause. Just think about, man, yeah, check that, check that. Okay, good. I feel like I've securely checked this area. Now I'm going to bring myself down to the frame area here. Looking at the frame. Is there any cracks, damages, or aftermarket welds? It's in good shape. And kind of check, make sure everything's secure. Bring me to the shock absorber because it's on the frame. This is secure. No dents, damage, or leaks. Good shape. Got our brake line here. It's good shape. No leaks, no damages. Bring yourself forward. We've got our steering gearbox. Gearbox is in place and secure, and all the bolts are in place. So that's important. Walk yourself back up here. Here's our steering gear, and this is it's secure and in place. And I can see do a pre-check of the play, and it looks to be in good shape. It shouldn't move more than 2 inches or 10 degrees on a 20-inch wheel. So we're done with that. Bring yourself back down here. Got our pitman arm. The bolts are in place. Castellated nuts are in place with the cotter key. That's important. You're going to come down here to this is your drag link. Drag link is securely placed. The joints look good. Dust boots are in place, securely mounted. Again, secure down here. Dust boots in place. Castellated nut and cotter key is in place. This is your steering arm right here. This is your steering arm. It's connected to your knuckle. There is another castellated nut. It's kind of hidden. You want to point that out. This angle right here. If you come back here, this castellated nut's in place, the cotter key is in place, looks good. Then you're going to come right down here to the tie rod. This is your tie rod right here. Tie rod's in place, castellated nut is in place with the cotter key, and joint looks good. Then you're going to work over here to the axle. The U-bolts are firmly in place, holding the leaf spring are in place. The leaf spring itself, no cracks, damages, or missing leaves. Your mounts are in good shape and secure. You're going to walk over here, you're going to just touch them. The bushings are in good shape. Those are all in nice shape. And then I'm going to bring myself back up over to here, back to the knuckle. You've checked the frame, you've checked here, you've basically walked yourself all the way down to the suspension area. You've checked all that. Now we're back to the brakes. Here's your brake pod. Your pod does not have any cracks, dents. It's securely mounted. Your push rod right here for your brakes is securely mounted, and you want to mention that this, when the brakes are applied, that the throw of this push rod should not exceed 2 inches. Bring yourself down. This is your slack adjuster right here. This is an automatic slack adjuster. You want to mention that this is where it would be adjusted, right here. And then on the inside, so you've done your brake pod, you've done your push rod and your slack adjusters. So work your way to the inside. Here's my brake drum. My brake drum is not cracked, damaged, or missing any parts. Here's my brakes. My brakes are not have sufficient linings, and there's no grease or oil contamination on those linings. Then go ahead and look at the wheel. The wheel doesn't have any cracks, damages, or aftermarket welds, and looks to be in good shape. And they're not expecting you to inspect the whole wheel. They want to do a look at it. Is there any bent parts on it? And it looks good. So that brings you up to the inside of the sidewall of the tire. No cracks, damages, or bulges on the tire, and in good shape. And that's going to bring you to the top here. The top of the tire has even tread wear, and the tread depth exceeds the minimum, and this is important, the tread depth exceeds the minimum of 4/32 tread depth for a steering tire. And you want to state that to the examiner. Then also you're going to bring yourself down to the side. This sidewall, no cracks, damages, or bulges indicating a problem with the sidewall. And at this time, you also want to check the tire pressure on the tire. So you walk over here to the truck, grab your pry bar. You want to give it a tap. Sounded firm, not hollow, indicating a low air pressure. It's not so important on a steering tire. But on the duals, you would definitely want to check it this way, because one inflated tire will hold up an uninflated tire. So that's why you would check it, because visually you can't really tell. So we've done our sidewall here, cracks, damages, or bulges. So we're just going to walk our way down here to the wheel. Again, no cracks, damages, or aftermarket welds. This is important. Your lug nuts, you want to touch each one. All my lug nuts seem to be tight, and I don't see any rust trails indicating a loose lug nut. Bring yourself down here to the sight glass for the oil bath. and it is above the refill mark, and so that's in good shape. It is filled here. You don't have to state that, but you can. And another thing you want to make sure on the after you've done that is you're like, yes, these are radial tires. You have to have radial tires for the fronts, and they are the same size as the other side. It's really only necessary to mention that. He's not going to really expect you to go around and check each measurement, but just let him know that you did do that. This is basically, we're done with this section of the vehicle. We're ready to move down to the rest of the tractor. But I want to stop this video here because this is kind of a lot to digest. So practice this, run this over and over, and be sure to check your California commercial driver's handbook. You know, I'm showing you what I did to pass the test. I got a perfect score on the pre-inspection, but again, you want to make sure that everything I'm saying corresponds within the book. I'm not showing you how to do a proper mechanical inspection on the tractor. I'm teaching you the basics and what I did to pass the test. So I hope it helps, and I'll stop here and then we'll move down to the tractor on the next video. Thanks.